sort of things. It seems too dashed inadequate. I shan't bother, said Anthony. Kelly nodded as he came to them and stood there for a moment. We can make a room for you, said Bill, getting up. Oh, don't bother, thanks, I just come to say, he went on to Anthony, that naturally they have rather lost their heads in the kitchen and dinner won't be till 8:30. Do just as you like about dressing, of course, and what about luggage? I thought Bill and I would walk over to them indirectly and see about it. The car can go and fetch it as soon as it comes back from the station. It's very good of you, but I shall have to go over myself anyhow to pack up and pay my bill. Besides, it's good evening for a walk. If you won't mind it, Bill, I should love it. Well, then, if you leave the bag there, I will send a call round for it later. Thanks very much. Having said what he wanted to say, Kelly remained there a little awkwardly as if not sure whether to go or to stay, and Tony wondered whether he wanted to talk about the afternoon's happenings or whether it was the subject he wished to avoid. To break the silence, he asked carelessly if the inspector had gone. Kelly nodded. Then he said abruptly, he is getting a warrant for Mark's arrest. Bill made suitably sympathetic noise, and Anthony said with a shrug of shoulders, well, he was bound to do that, wasn't he? It doesn't follow that it doesn't mean anything. They naturally want to get the hold of your cousin, innocent or guilty. Which do you think he is, Mr. Gillingham? Said Kelly, looking at him steadily. Mark, it's absurd, said Bill impetuously. Bill's loyal, you see, Mr. Kelly, and you have no loyalty to anyone concerned. Exactly, so perhaps I might be too frank. Bill had dropped down on the grass and Kelly took his place on the seat and sat there heavily, his elbows on his knees, his chin on his hands, gazing at the ground. I want you to be quite frank, he said at last. Naturally, I am prejudiced where Mark is concerned, so I want to know how my suggestion strikes you who have no prejudice either way. Your suggestion. My theory that if Mark killed his brother, it was purely accidental, as I told the inspector. Bill looked up with interest. You mean that Robert did the hold-up business? He said, and there was a bit of struggle, and the revolver went off, and then Mark lost his head and bolted. That sort of idea, exactly. Well, that seems all right. He turned to Anthony. There is nothing wrong with that, is there? It's the most natural explanation to anyone who knows Mark. Anthony pulled at his pipe. I suppose it is, he said slowly, but there is one thing that worries me rather. What is that? Bill and Kelly asked the question simultaneously. The key. The key, said Bill. Kelly lifted the head and looked at Anthony. What about the key? He asked. Well, there may be nothing in it. I just wondered. Suppose Robert was killed, as you say, and suppose Mark lost his head and thought of nothing but getting away before anyone could see him. Well, very likely he would lock the door and put the key in his pocket. He would do it without thinking, just to gain a moment's time. Yes, that's what I suggest. It seems sound enough, said Bill. Sort of thing you would do without thinking. Besides, if you are going to run away, it gives you more of a chance. Yes, that's all right. If the key is there, but suppose it isn't there, the suggestion made as if it were already an established fact started them both. They looked at him wonderingly. What do you mean? Said Kelly. Well, it's just a question of where people happen to keep their keys. You go to your bedroom and perhaps you like to lock your